Damian here with Salesforce. Today I want to take a few moments to talk to you about Purview Information Protection. Information protection can be customized depending on your organizational needs. It's a great asset for you if you need to comply with regulations, laws, or your business's best practice. So why is information protection important? To begin with, on average, a data breach can cost millions. And secondly, there's a high percentage of organizations that have quote unquote dark data, meaning it's not classified, governed, or protected. You have to be able to do three things: discover your data, classify it, and remediate it. You have to know your data before you can protect it. You can use tools like sensitive information types, trainable classifiers, and data classifications. Once you have that established, then you can protect your data. You can use sensitivity labels, double key encryptions, OMEs, and my personal favorite, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. To prevent data loss, you can use Purview DLPs. Once you have that established, you'll be well on your way to improve your secure score and your organizational security posture. So what I want to do now is show you a demonstration. This demo is going to illustrate how you can protect your data from third-party apps like Salesforce. It'll be split up into two parts. First, we'll use Purview. We'll create a custom sensitive information type and we'll create a label. Secondly, we'll use Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps to create a session policy which will encrypt files from being viewed. So let's jump in and get started. So I want to talk to you about information protection and the value that it has to protect your documents. Along the way, we're going to be using Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps with its policies and Microsoft Purview with its labeling system. We have two virtual machines that are spun up, which simulates two different users. In this demo, we're going to be using Salesforce, which is a third-party app. So let's log into the first user on the left. We're going to do so using SSO, single sign-on. This is demo user 3, and I'll type in the password. So right off the bat, you can see that access to Salesforce is monitored. Essentially, all the activity in Salesforce runs through the MCAS proxy, Microsoft Cloud App Security proxy. And with that, we can control how documents are downloaded or used. Let's hide this here and continue to log in. You can see demo user 3 is logged in. I'm going to look for the files that we've uploaded into Salesforce. And this one's called Project Electron Overview. Let's download that. You can see at the bottom it's been downloaded, so let's open it. And you get a couple things that pop up. The first one's just a standard protected view. Let's close this up. And this one here is interesting. It says this label protects sensitive documents containing information on Project Electron. So as you download documents from Salesforce, a Cloud App policy scans documents in real time. And we told this policy to look for specific sensitive information. Once that information is scanned and contained, it will automatically label a document. This gives protection to who has access to this document. So these are the permissions that it has. Let's close this off. So that shows that this user is able to view that document. So now let's go over to the second user. We'll also use SSO, single sign-on, and this is demo user 2. I'll type in the password. And similarly, we're able to log in. You can see through the profile it is demo user 2. So I'm going to retrieve that same document that's uploaded. This user is part of the same organization and Project Electron overview. So let's open that up and download it. And look what pops up. We have a message that says, you're not signed into Office with an account that has permission to open this document. So that policy and the labeling system does not allow this user, this specific user, to open this document. So let's say you're trying to re-enter your verifications or your credentials to gain access to that document. So I'm demo user 2. Let's put that in. And there you go. The same error message shows up. So essentially, this user does not have access to that document. So now that the demo is completed, I want to move on to the second part, which will be going under the hood just to show you how this was all done and implemented. This was done in Microsoft Purview, and essentially there are two things that were created in here. The first one was the sensitive information type, and the second one was creating a label. So let's start off with the sensitive information type. I'm going to click on Project Electron and hit Edit so you can see what it looks like. The first part is to give it a name and a description. The second thing to do is to create a pattern. Essentially, what keywords are we looking for when we scan documents? In this case, we went with Project Electron. So any document that contains that word or that phrase will get flagged and be considered a sensitive information. So as you can see here, the keywords show Project Electron. Let's hit next. So this is the recommended confidence level. This is in relation to the false negatives and false positives. We went with the default setting of medium. Click on next. You can review it and then hit finish. And you have your sensitive information type completed. The next thing we'll look at is the label. Let's open this up so you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to hit edit. Same kind of thing. You'll need a name and description. And here's where you define the scope for this label, whether you want it to scan files, emails, or meetings. We went with all three. But for this specific demo, we used a Word document. Next option is to choose the protection setting, whether you want to apply encryption or not. And this will control who has access to that specific document. And then in relation to the encryption settings, you would use the option of users or individuals, or groups, I should say. We recommend using groups to apply these encryption settings, and these are all managed in Azure Active Directory. Let's click on next. Then you have options for auto labeling of files and emails. We didn't use any of that for our demo. Then you have the option to define protection settings for groups and sites. Again, we didn't use any of that either. And then you have the option for auto labeling of data assets. The next thing you would do is review and save the label or finish it. And essentially, you've created the sensitive information type and label, which can be used as part of a session policy in Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. Okay, so we're in the Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps portal. And what we want to do now is create a session policy. The session policy will control the behavior in the cloud apps that your users have access to. So in this case, we used Salesforce. The session control type is control file download with inspection. we set the scope of the policy to show Salesforce. And we want this policy to detect the sensitive information type that we personally created, which is Project Electron. So this Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps policy uses elements of Microsoft Purview, which is really neat. So when the sensitive information is detected, we have different actions that we can take. We can test it, which is just monitoring the login activity. We can block it, or we can protect it. So how do we actually protect this document? We apply this Project Electron label, which we created, and part of that creation was encryption. So we can control through encryption who has access to that document. So that's pretty much it. After you create the policy and your users log in to the cloud apps, you can monitor their behavior and control what they can and cannot have access to, which is really valuable for an organization. This concludes our demo, and I hope you found it valuable. Remember, more often than not, we hear about organizations experience data loss and breaches. I think, truth be told, most companies don't think it's going to happen to them until it does. Again, it's Damian from Salesforce, and I'll see you in the next video.